My name is Jeremiah Gamble. I am a playwright and actor, storyteller, theater producer, poet, all around creative noodler.
Hi there, I'm Gianna from Family Fun Twin Cities, and this is the Let's Go Do Fun Stuff show.
I am super excited to welcome Jeremiah Gamble to the Let's Go Do Fun Stuff show. I have personally been a fan of his for many years, and even though I didn't know him personally, I do now. I love what he and his wife bring to the West 7th neighborhood in St. Paul. So, here is Jeremiah Gamble.
My wife Vanessa and I live in St. Paul, and we've been writing and producing and performing original theater for 26 years. That's been our gig. So I'm a storyteller at heart. And in 2013, in 2012, we started a company called Bucket Brigade, which we produce original work, largely theater in the Twin Cities. And in 2013, we moved to our neighborhood in the West 7th neighborhood of St. Paul. And so that's where Bucket Brigade is, right in our neighborhood. And we perform usually 2 to 3 shows at Art House North, which is an old church that got converted into an art and community space right at the end of our block. So we walk to the theater, do our shows, walk home. And so, we love theater, and that's just what we do. And it's kind of that unique thing where we get to do what we love as our job, which is wonderful and sometimes really hard.
Yeah, really scary. What's your family? So it's you and your wife, and tell us a little more about your family. Whatever you want to tell. You don't have to go into detail.
So we've got 3 kids. Our oldest, Phoenicia, is about to get her BFA in acting from the University of Minnesota. I don't know where she got that idea. And then our daughter Eden is a musical theater major at Pepperdine in Malibu. And so musical theater. And then our son Obadiah is a sophomore at Minnehaha Academy, and he loves writing music, performing. He's a jazz guitarist, musician, and that's kind of his passion, is music writing and producing. So all of them got the creative bug. It's always fun to see the different ways that those things end up finding their way into your kids' lives. So it's been fun to see them all fall in love with a different expression of kind of the creative things we've always been doing. So
yeah, seriously. I have a kid going off to California next year after sending one just down the street. So what is happening at Art House North for the Bucket Brigade?
So we are doing our show Til Death, a marriage musical. It's a musical that myself and my wife Vanessa wrote and then premiered in 2012. And we wrote it. When we write and show, I write the script, and then I write the lyrics, and then Vanessa writes the music. And so we premiered it in 2012 as a touring musical. And Vanessa and I play a couple that's been married for a number of years and kind of on the rocks, like things aren't going well. And then the show is all about, then we end up, this couple that's been separated ends up, their parents trick them basically to be in this cabin in the woods in Colorado, hopefully to spark things and spark like a reuniting of this couple. And while that's happening and tensions are rising, and a newlywed couple gets stranded. It's in the mountains of Colorado. So there's a snowstorm, this newlywed couple gets stranded, and hilarity ensues. So it's a couple that's been married 15 and all the challenges that come with that. And then the newlyweds where, everything is just, the world is perfect and we're perfect for each other. And so there's a lot of ridiculousness. It's a musical comedy. It's a romantic comedy, but it very much focuses on kind of the uniqueness of a marriage relationship or a long-standing relationship. It certainly is for people who are married or not, but just the unique challenges and humorous things about being in a relationship for a long time. So it's equally ridiculous and also really heartwarming. And so we bring it back. This is our 13th season in a row. We do it every Valentine's season. Some couples make it like their Valentine's tradition. because even though, yeah, it's the same show, that's kind of the wonderful thing about theater is it's new. And we return to shows, we mark time with story, like maybe it's a Christmas Carol every Christmas, or we watch some of the same movies, and it's not like, oh, here we go again. It's like, oh, I love this part, and here it comes. So we get excited that that part is coming, and then it does. And so there's kind of like that layer upon layer of enjoyment for people who come every year. We have our neighborhood bakery, Break Bread, makes cupcakes specifically for our event. So that comes with the experience. You get a free cupcake and coffee. The Art House is such a lovely, like a warm, intimate space to see theater. So it's kind of it's a great experience in February when everybody's cold and tired of like just clenching for, 90 days at this point. So it's the warmth of being together, of laughing together with, most likely the person that you love, to share like laughter together. So it's really a joyous time. And that's one of the reasons why we keep bringing it back, is because people seem to love it, and we love it. And we've been doing this for 13 years. And so we're not the same people that we were 13 years ago. And that's fun. It's fun to bring that newness to the show. And we have another real life married couple that plays the newlyweds. But we actually have two different couples that switch evenings, because in both cases, there are friends, Nathan and Stephanie Cousins, and Anna and Damian Leverett. They each, I think the Cousins, this is maybe their 7th year doing the show. And for the Leveretts, this is their 8th season. And they're both, all 3 couples who do the show have 3 kids. And they have really young kids. And so our kids are older now, but we remember those days when we wrote Til Death. Our son Obadiah was 2, and our daughter Eden was 6, and our daughter Phoenicia was 8. So we know what it's like to try to do theater with a full house. And that's a unique experience. Not a lot of like theater professionals get to do theater with their spouse, or get to do theater when they have young kids. And so that's something we've always celebrated. We're a family who does theater, and there's challenges there, but there's unique gifts to the fact that this is a unique experience. So by alternating couples, so it allows them to just to do, it's less of a commitment, so it's more realistic that they could actually do this. So it's wonderful, and then we as a company also pay to offer an extra stipend for childcare, because we know that they're going to need childcare, and we care about that. Like, that's a value of ours, that these young married couples who are professional theater makers can do a show together, even if they have little kids. But we care about that, and the kids are often in the rehearsal, so it's a very lively environment. And we actually had a potluck last night with everybody, so it was like all hands on deck, and there were kids everywhere, and it's just such a joy. And our stage manager, who's a new stage manager to us this year, was just like just noting what a unique theater environment that it's just kids everywhere. So it was really delightful, and we just kind of lean into that. And we're all very familiar with the show, so that also makes it more doable. So, because we are in the thick of life, and we can still do theater. But yeah, we do shorter runs, so it's 9 shows over 3 weekends. So it makes it more doable for all of us.
Wow. You don't really hear businesses, because the theater is the business, right? The art is the theater in the theater.
Right.
But you don't really hear very many businesses, especially, maybe I shouldn't say especially, but you just don't really hear of businesses like really intentionally saying, we love families and we will support families. So that is huge. And also Family Fun Twin Cities, like, approved. Thank you very much.
But also, like, I will say too, some people are like, I don't know, a musical. Like, I have friends who have said to me, they're like, I don't like musicals, and I like this musical. So I will say that too. it's very accessible. It doesn't feel like, oh boy, like it feels like real life, but also ridiculous. And yeah, kind of like a really fun comedy. That's what it is. And yes, there's music, but it's not the sort of thing where if you're like, I don't do musicals.
Mhm.
We've had good reports from trustworthy people that I think you'll like it anyway.
Nice. It's kind
Mhm.
of a date night play,
Yep.
but if you were to grab your kids and bring them with, is it appropriate, or would you say it might be a little kind of on the slower side for kids?
Oh, it's not slow. It's definitely boom, 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 boom. I would say it's more like teenagers and above. Um, uh, I would say it's probably PG-13. I would
Okay.
say that's because the newlyweds are very affectionate.
Mm.
So uh, it's yeah. So that's what I would say.
Okay.
There isn't anything like that's like, but that's also kind of the, in a room of couples and stuff like that, you're able to celebrate those things and enjoy some of those
Mhm.
ridiculous, like, so yeah, it's definitely more for teenagers and above. Yeah.
Maybe without their parents, just because then it becomes super cringe, as my teenagers would say.
I mean, that's entertaining in its own way, but yeah, right.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I would say like where we see it is like, you know, kids, yeah, maybe who come as just like they love theater or they love, musical theater or, so that kind of thing where that's gonna, be the sort of thing where kids who are interested in that sort of thing will enjoy it certainly. So,
Okay.
but I love telling stories. We love telling our own stories. And part of theater too is, of course, telling stories you think people want to hear and hopefully crafting it in a way that people come, which we've been doing now for quite a while, and then raising money because ticket sales only count for about half of what theater costs, which isn't always something people are aware of. So that's the other thing we have to do in theater is raise money pretty consistently. So
You're a nonprofit, right?
we are structured like a nonprofit. So we have a fiscal sponsor called Springboard for the Arts.
Oh, yeah.
And basically, that allows a smaller company like us to function like a nonprofit, where we can ask for donations and people can get give tax deductible donations.
Okay.
But we have a kind of like this umbrella, work under this umbrella. We're a fiscally sponsored project of Springboard for the Arts, which is another St. Paul nonprofit who works with small arts organizations and other little social organizations within the communities. So it's really a wonderful service that they provide. And then this fall we premiered a new piece, which was our first new piece since 2019, called "Survivors of the Fire: Stories and Songs Remembering the Great Hinckley Fire of 1894."
Yes.
Yeah,
And
so
you went up there and performed it up there, and you performed it down here.
yeah, so we got to perform at the Hinckley Fire Museum on the 130th anniversary of the Hinckley Fire. Yeah, on the day, September 1st. Yeah, and then performed it for a 4-week run down here in St. Paul. And we're hoping I grew up in Hinckley, so it connected to the story. And that was amazing because we had people who were like, my great grandfather was in the Hinckley Fire, or survived the Hinckley Fire, or perished in the fire. We met so many people who were connected to the story. And we would love to bring it back to the Fire Museum and hopefully have this be a tradition to be able to remember these real people and remember these stories and this very real event that happened. So yeah,
Did you have a cast of 5,
8,
6, 8? Yeah, so it wasn't a small cast. It was a
8 and
fairly large
four,
cast.
musicians. Yeah.
Wow, yeah.
Yeah.
So that would be really cool. Would you do if you did it up in Hinckley every fall-ish?
Mhm.
I guess it's still kind of summer, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Would you also do it every fall down here in the Twin Cities, or would you just make that maybe a once in a while thing?
Yeah, we'll see. It kind of depends. There's something about, possibly a tour in the Pine County area.
Mm.
So that's where I could see it, or even bring it up to Duluth. Something about my curiosity, like the railroad connected St. Paul, Hinckley, and Duluth. So there's something about storytelling, like Minnesota and regional storytelling in that corridor that interests me. So is it a tour that goes from St. Paul, Hinckley, Duluth, that sort of thing?
Jeremiah and I transitioned to what makes life so great in Minnesota, because we're both quite proud to be Minnesotans. Are you from Minnesota? Is that why
Mhm.
you ended up here? What's your
Yes.
background of Minnesota?
Yeah, so I grew up initially in Hinckley, Minnesota, then Rochester, Minnesota, then went to school in St. Paul at Bethel, and that's where my wife and I, Vanessa and I, met. She grew up in Winona, Minnesota. So yeah, we both are from Minnesota, and you know, after studying music and theater in college, I mean, there's just so many opportunities here. This is such a vibrant arts community, and so we love the art community in Minnesota. We have a lot of family and connections here. We love the seasons, and we love our neighborhood in St. Paul. Like it's close to downtown, but it's right by the river. It feels kind of small towny, and there's a lot of history, but it's also there's so much that we can walk to just in our neighborhood. Amazing restaurants and coffee shops. So the fact that we can do theater in our neighborhood, and it's kind of the best of all worlds. Hmm.
What are some of your favorites here in Minnesota? So let's start with what is okay. And when I say favorites, it doesn't have to be your top favorite. It can be
Yeah,
just something that comes to your head. Okay.
for sure. Yep.
Okay. What is your favorite We'll do both Minnesota and Twin Cities. If it's the same, great. If it's
Mhm.
not, no problem. What is your favorite restaurant?
Favorite restaurant?
Let's start
Holy
easy.
cats. Yeah, favorite restaurant. Current favorite restaurant. Oh, Dario in the North Loop. I
In Minneapolis?
yes, North Loop of Minneapolis. Um, I went there recently for the first time on recommendation. It's handmade pastas, very spendy, but I was like, I think that was the best pasta I've ever had in my life, and maybe one of the best meals I had in my life. So, and my wife agreed. So, if you're looking for a night out spendy, yeah, Dario in the North Loop.
Dario in the North Loop of Minneapolis. Okay.
Mhm.
What is one of your favorite? Do you guys go camping or go
Yeah,
outside?
yeah.
Okay, spending time outside, some sort of thing. What is one of your favorite parks/state parks to spend time in?
I mean, I will say going up north to Grand Marais, my parents live in Grand Marais, so anywhere around Grand Marais, Artist Point, and there's points along the journey to Grand Marais. So heading north is real special. Also, honestly, the land where I grew up, my sister and brother-in-law have a place called Crooked Creek Retreat, which they run as an Airbnb, but it's a little log cabin in the rolling hills, and there's paths, and it's wonderful. So I love going there. So
Sweet. Should I put a link in our show
yeah,
notes for that one? Okay. Crooked Lake Retreat.
Crooked Creek Retreat.
Crooked Creek Retreat. Oh, I've driven down the hills, like that area where you
Yeah,
like
yeah.
go down.
Yeah,
Oh yes, I have memories of that on
yeah.
a scary Christmas Eve. It was beautiful, but also
Yeah,
like don't fall off the road.
right.
Okay, so Crooked Creek Retreat. Got to remember
Mhm.
that. Okay.
Yeah.
What is besides Bucket Brigade, what are
Mhm.
some of your favorite theaters or
Yeah.
stories that Bucket Brigade hasn't told? Actually, both. Why don't you do both?
Well, my favorite Twin Cities theater company, besides Bucket Brigade, is 10,000 Things. They're an incredible theater company. They have an amazing mission. They do. Um, they perform it. They bring theater to those who don't have access to theater. So they'll perform in prisons, halfway houses, shelters. So they bring theater to the people. And they hire the best actors. They pay them really well. So it's just like, what a vision. Their aesthetic is so simple. Like they just do theater in a room, but it's so captivating. It's kind of the best of theater, I feel like. So 10,000 Things, check them out because they do public performances. But I love that. I love like a strong vision and amazing storytelling. So you can't go wrong with 10,000 Things.
Perfect. Okay. How about a favorite lake?
I mean, Lake Superior, that's the obvious one. That's kind of the go-to. I will say I love Silverwood Park in Northeast Minneapolis. So that little lake, is it called Silver Lake, I presume?
Silver Lake, yeah.
Yeah.
I live right
love
there.
that. So like kayak, that's where I bring my kayak or paddleboard is to Silverwood Park. So
Oh, I love that park. It's got
Yeah.
all these ecosystems within it.
Yeah.
And it's like tiny.
Yeah.
But not, right? Yes.
My state fair musts are
yes.
a poncho dog, so which is a corn dog, but specifically a poncho dog. Like look for the poncho dog. Like then you know you're going to get the best corn dog. 1919 root beer. So I get 2 corn dogs with mustard and then 1919 root beer because that's kind of like dessert, the 1919 root beer. And then later, Sweet Martha's with milk, of course.
Yes.
And then corn on the cob, usually we'll do the roasted corn.
And with that, we conclude our Minnesota's Best.
So Til Death, a marriage musical. It runs January 31st through February 15th at Art House North. That's right in the West 7th neighborhood of St. Paul. Art House North is 793 Armstrong Avenue. There's some amazing restaurants right nearby, so you can make a whole date night, go out to eat, and then come to the theater. It plays Friday and Saturdays. There are some Saturday matinees, and then we do have one pay as you're able on a Monday night. So if you go to bucketbrigadetheater.com, you can find out all the specifics, but it's 3 weekends. Mainly it's Fridays and Saturdays, and so great nights for a date night. But then there is that one Monday and then a few matinees, which allow it more accessibility for other people. And it's a great date night. There's cupcakes from our local bakery, Break Bread, coffee. So musical comedy for, all couples will really greatly enjoy it. So,
including teenage couples that might roll their eyes.
Yeah, exactly. They'll lean into the awkward, right?
Yes. Okay, well, I think that's it. Thank you so much for chatting.
Yeah, thanks, Jen. I appreciate it.
Well, that was a really fun conversation. I hope you guys enjoyed that as much as I did. And while I have been a fan of Jeremiah Gamble, I am even more a fan of Jeremiah Gamble. And Vanessa. Vanessa's hilarious. So, I'm heading out to Til Death, and I will let you know how it is. We are active on Instagram and on Facebook. The best place to get a hold of us or to learn about stuff is either on our website, Family Fun Twin Cities, or on our newsletter. So, if you need anything, there will be links in the show notes for everything we talked about, as well as signing up for our newsletter and a link straight to Family Fun Twin Cities.
And now it's your turn to go do fun stuff.
And you said Bucket Brigade. That was like, it started all around the same. Oh, let me restart that.
Yeah.
Can I ask why? No, I'm going to ask, not can I?
Right.
Not everybody grew up like me, where my mom would sing like every sentence she said to us.
Yeah.
Or something would cause her to break into song. Not everybody did that?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, right. Pro tip, bring your wife or girlfriend to Til Death because it is a hoot.
Let's get started.